Let's see what happens. It says we're live. All right, everybody, this is your girl Valerie, your chocolate smoothie of Sister Talk with Valerie, and we are live on Facebook. And I have one of my favorite people here today, Miss Kia Kelly Reed, my oldest baby girl.
I'm
How you doing,
doing.
Kia?
I'm doing so great. How are you, Mama?
I am good, darling. So Kia Kelly thought it would be a great for us to come on today and have a little conversation. Is what it's been a couple days since we had a conversation, right? We are live. All right. So again, this is Valerie McAllister of Sister Talk with Valerie on Untapped Music Radio, y'all. That airs every Friday at 7:30. And tonight's subject is how you get your groove back after 40. All right, Kia, you want to tell us how to get our groove back after 40? First, introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Kia Reed, and I'm an educator. I'm a mom. I am the co-owner of Generational Words, Eyes of Your Heart Entertainment. I like to read and write and have fun.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I am her mom, also co owner of Generational Words LLC. There's another piece of us. Her name is Miss Capri, who is also co-owner of Generational Words LLC, where we do book production. We produce films. We support people in writing their books. We do some financial counseling. We do all kinds of things at Generational Words because we are expression artists. We support positive expression. But tonight, we are talking about getting your groove back after 40. That's interesting, kid, that you picked this topic. How old are you?
I'm 40.
Who got a 40-year-old child? Who got a 40-year-old child? I do. So, okay, I thought this was an interesting topic. It's one of those Stella, how you get your groove on topics. But what's different? Did you feel something different when you turned 40? Was there some kind of metamorphosis in your life that happened because you turned 40?
Mom, it wasn't really anything like, I'm sorry, that light is just lining my eyeballs. It wasn't really anything that I felt differently. I know like it's a milestone, and as it was coming, I was like, oh, I'm about to turn 40. It was surreal, I guess I could say. And then I did kind of go through a little sadness when I first got 40 because it was like, oh man, I'm 40. But then it was kind of like, you know what, I'm 40 and I feel like more comfortable in my skin than I ever have been. I feel like I'm in a good spot in my life. And a lot of that has come from just being grateful, reflecting on so many things I have to be grateful for. And so that's helped me to like embrace whatever's going on at the moment. It's just being grateful.
So you're 40, you have three children,
Mm-hmm.
a child who is getting ready to go into college, which is a very
Hallelujah.
exciting
Thank
thing.
you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
I feel very excited to have a grandchild that's getting ready to go into college. I
Mm-hmm.
know that you're divorced. And I know that, just like I have friends that are turning 50 this year, and 50 for me was a big deal. It was a milestone. And as I knock on 60's door, Lord have mercy, and in 2 years, that's going to be a milestone for me as well. So when you think about who you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and you think about who you are now, what happened to get you to that point? Was there something that gradually happened, or did you just kind of wake up one day and something was different? And what were the things that help you to come to this place now where you feel very sure of yourself?
I wouldn't say that I'm completely where I want to be in terms of being sure and confident in myself. I'm definitely not where I was 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And I think a part of what has helped that, and I talk to a lot of my girlfriends about this, is realizing like the things that I felt like were necessary or I had to put a rush on or I had to have, and this has to happen right now, you know, sometimes those things were not always what I thought they would be once I actually acquired them. And then living through those experiences helped me to see that you have to put things in perspective about what's important and what you really want in life, and not really try to meet some milestones based on what everybody else says has to happen. So, for example, I got married when I was 28 years old. And at the time, I felt like, oh my God, I have to get married before I'm 30. Because if I'm not married by the time I'm 30, it's going to be terrible. And I put so much pressure on myself about that. And then I got married, and marriage is a beautiful thing, but it was completely different from what I expected. And I just remember when I got to be 35 and now being 40, thinking, wow, you know what? I could have waited for that experience. I didn't have to rush it at 28. Like, I could have traveled. I know people say they're biological clocks and all that stuff, but women are having children a lot later in life. Just the things that you want for yourself. Sometimes I guess you just have to examine, why do you really want that? And where is it coming from? And what is the narrative that's kind of feeding that desire? So thinking about that and reevaluating some things, it's like, you know what? I just want to be grateful for the present moment. And I want to accomplish things. I want to live and walk in purpose, but I definitely want that to come out of what God's will is for my life. And so I have kind of surrendered to, what is your will for my life, Lord? And that has really helped me to be comfortable in my skin, because I'm not trying to manipulate or always trying to maneuver this story that I think should be happening in my life, based on, you know, what other people are saying or doing. And that release of that busyness in my mind has helped me to just be at peace more. So I think that's what has helped.
Yeah, that's good feedback for anyone. One of the reasons why I wanted to get older, and like now I'm at that point and the pushing 60, is that, you know, those older people that say whatever the hell they want to say, and it's okay because they're at that age where they just taking no prisoners. I love it. I love being at a place in my life where I'm in control of my destiny, me and God, right? God is in control, and I'm on God's train. But you don't make excuses or apologize in every arena, like in the arena of good evening, Maisha, in the arena of my professional life, in the arena of my personal life, in my relationships with friends, in my relationships, you know, with the opposite sex. There is this is my standard. Here's what I want and don't want. And I'm not willing and to say, well, I'm going to kind of, you know, be on the fence on that. And that wasn't true for a lot of years for me. That was not true. Because I was like you. I really think that women, and maybe men too, but I can only speak to the women's experience, live their life by this imaginary set of what I should have, these standards. I should be at this place. I should be married. I should have children. I should have a career. I should be the best at it. I should, you know, have X amount of money, in the bank. I should be driving this kind of car. And for many different reasons, we are sort of motivated towards the things that we think we should have. But that imaginary book, I don't know who wrote it. I don't know where it is. But I think it has caused a lot of women a lot of stress trying to measure up to what the standards of the imaginary book is.
I definitely, yeah, that is true. And as a mom, I feel that the most, like, oh my God, I'm being a terrible mom. Oh, this happened or that happened, or different things. Like when you're at work, you want to do your best there. You want to do your best as a mom. You want to do your best as a friend, as a daughter, and da, 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 da. And I was thinking the other day about, well, where is the commitment to myself? You know what I mean? I was on a show last night on Chris's show, Issues of Men, and the show was about why are people reluctant to commit in relationships. And it got me to thinking about, well, what first off is the commitment that I have to myself? Like, how am I committing to me? How am I showing the discipline to do that? How am I exhibiting that love of self so that I can really show up and make commitments in other areas of my life in a real sincere and real way. But I do agree that is like a real pressure. And that's what I've always appreciated about you as a mother. You have always been one to talk about to thine own self be true and really speak on the ways in which, as a woman, you have to be true to yourself first and give yourself grace and make it okay to have some mishaps, some missteps, but walk in your power and your truth anyway. And so that's helped me watching you or getting that message from you all my life. So I don't know. I want people, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the show is because I feel like, nowadays we just get so bogged down with so much and we just get in this sadness. And I really believe that life is supposed to be lived abundantly and there should be a joy and there should be an excitement. And one thing that taught me that was this whole Corona experience, because previously you had this to look forward to or that to look forward to. And now it's like Friday night, you could go get into this place, that place, but it might shut down early. You're going to have to wear a mask. You can't really congregate with a lot of people. You're not going, it's different the way we have to conduct ourselves. But when it was really in the thick of it, when we couldn't go anywhere, it was like, okay, you got to sit with yourself and figure out, well, how can I cultivate joy internally? How can I have something to look forward to? How can I motivate myself? How can I keep hope, which is so important during this time? How can I maintain a sense of hope in my life with all that's going on? And I've been talking to my children about this a lot, about and for me, it has been anchoring in God, having him as a source of strength, having him as an anchor. But you have to be able to, and it's so hard. And I know I'm not shaming anyone who has challenges with this, because Lord knows I have walked through similar situations of feeling like I can't move out of this stuck place. I can't feel good right now. I don't know what to feel good about. But at the same time, it's like having, that audacity to have hope, like Obama said, the audacity of hope, even in this time. Like, we can find something to be grateful for. We can find a hope to cling on to. Even if our normal looks different, it does not mean that it's bad. It could be a good different. It could be something that we can embrace. So I want to encourage and uplift people to have a gratefulness and a hope no matter where they are in their situation. And I know that's easy for me to say.
I think sometimes people have what they believe is hope or have hope. There's a distractions. So for me, pre-COVID, there were many distractions. There were things that I could do to keep myself busy. I could go to network over here, go hang out with my girls over here, go dance over here. There was cookouts over here. There was just so many things to distract me. And when COVID happened, there was no longer the ability to have that distraction. And then you got to sit with yourself, right? It ain't about, I'm trying to build a business, or I'm trying to work, or I'm trying to, be in this relationship, or I'm trying to, learn yoga, whatever. You had to sit with yourself. And when I was sitting with myself, I learned so many things about me, and they weren't cute, a lot of them. But I think that's one of the reasons why now I am so I stand so strong in my truth, because even though I said, you said that, Mom, you gave us the ability to kind of to your own self be true. And I said that to my children, but there were times when I was not true to myself because of everybody else around me, trying to be something for somebody, whether it was a friend, a sister, a daughter, whatever. And I wasn't, and that was first before me. So although I was partially authentically me, there was also a me that I put on hold, because you got to take care of everybody else. That whole take care of everybody else thing, when you are not taking care of yourself, is self-destructive, in my opinion.
No, I believe that's true. That's true. And then for me, it's like I want to hold a mirror to myself because I want my daughter and my sons. I want my son and my daughters to look at me and say, "Man, Mom is making the best out of a situation. Mom is trying. She's pushing. She works out. She's trying to eat right. She's getting up and going out the door and going to the gym, or she's inviting us to go on these walks. So we're going to get ice cream, or we're talking about God, or I want them to have those experiences because I fully realize, especially with having my son going off to college, that they are going to get in their own personal spaces and they're going to need to be able to reflect on how I managed and maneuvered through a hard time, how I showed up every day. And so for me, they give me a lot of motivation to try new things, to like we were saying, we're going to talk about, to get my groove back, whatever that might mean, to be true to myself. Because I want them to be able to find that for themselves when they are in their own space and in their own life. And you can't really find those spaces unless you have witnessed it, you've experienced it, you've seen an example, or you've gotten an encouraging word, or you've been kind of walked through or guided through that process. So that's my motivation for wanting to maintain hope, because it's like if we're saying right now, especially for people, especially for people who are thinking about next generations, if we're saying right now that there is no more hope, that everything is all bad, then what does that mean for our children? What does that mean for their future? What do they have? What are they going to look forward to? And, my son, he likes to read philosophy books all the time, and he's really into that stuff. And one of the philosophers said, he was basically telling him about the suffering in life, or that we have to maintain. And it kind of gave my son this view of, well, in life, there's suffering, and what else is there? And my point to him was, that's sad that philosopher studied life, spent years of his life studying life, and the message that he was able to leave was life is suffering. Is that really what you're passing down in the...
You froze a little, babe. You froze. Well, but you froze for a minute. Maisha says that our life is our children's first example of how to cope with life. And that's a very deep, because if we don't know how to cope with life, then our inability to cope does pass down. Now, I'm not going to say that I always coped well with life. And I know that there are things that I pass down to my children. Like, I think worry, like over worrying because of wanting to protect your children, was one of the things I passed down to y'all. We were talking yesterday, and I was saying, as a parent, you never stop worrying. I trust God. Yes, I do. But I don't care how old y'all get. I'm going to worry. Just like your dad. Your dad thinks you guys are two. Like when he was talking to you the other day. And don't forget to keep your stuff next to you, and don't talk to strangers. You talking to a 40-year-old woman, Mark. But that's how it is when you're a parent, because God gave you this life to raise, to nurture, to shelter. you belong to God, and then you raise this human being to impact the world. And then you have to take your hands off of that human being and let God do the rest. But as a mom, just like with Mary, it's you can I mean that's Jesus, that's my child. And I can see Mary now. Dude, I know you ain't out here in such. I've been looking for you, such. I don't care if you is the Christ. You my child, and you supposed to be home. Even
Yeah.
on the cross, somebody better help my child, because there is this innate attachment, and it doesn't take anything from fathers. Maybe it's because our children live inside of us, before they're exposed to the world, that this just doesn't detach for some of us.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that today, about like God as our parent, right? So thinking about, some of the suffering I was talking about, like I was talking to God, just being real with him, like, God, you have, because I actually went to a funeral today. And I said, God, it's hard for us when we lose one another. Like, it's really difficult. We struggle with that. And I was just talking to him, like, just trying to figure out, what is that, Lord? And then it was so funny. I started thinking about the game of peekaboo. And you know how you do peekaboo with the baby. And the reason why babies are so amazed by peekaboo is because they actually think that you are gone when you cover your face. And as the parent, you're like thinking, oh, that's so funny. Like, you think I'm gone, but here I am. I'm never going. I'm always there. And I was like, well, maybe that's what God sees with us when we lose loved ones. Like, they didn't leave. They're not in their physical body, but they're still there. And he has that perspective to know that your loved one is really never gone. So, but we can't understand that. We're like, they're gone and we're falling apart. Like they left us, but he's like, they're still there. Their spirit is still there. Their physical body is just gone. And the time that you will have with them is eternity compared to the short time in the physical body. So I was just thinking about that perspective of God as a parent, and some of the things that we might go through that we're feeling like, oh my God, it is suffering. So like I was saying to my son with the philosopher, I was like,
Maisha says she loved that analogy.
Yeah. And I thought it was so cute too. I was like, that's a Lord. He just said that. I thought it was so cute too. But I was thinking about when I was talking to my son about the suffering thing, I said, you know what? You have the power and the capability of doing great things in this earth. And that philosopher left that book and focused on suffering. But you, as one individual, can go out and change the lives of so many people. I was talking about this guy who's going around to different countries, and he's giving water supply, which is helping people to be free of diseases, helping people to be able to cook in their homes and bathe. And it's just changing their whole world. For him, that one person deciding that this is important, and I want to go do this. And look at the impact that one person has had. So I refuse to believe that, oh, it's just a bunch of suffering and sadness and bad things happening. Because if you see something that's going on in the earth that can be, that needs to be changed, you have all power to address that issue in whatever way. And you might feel like your efforts are small, but it could impact so many and be so big. You never know what it is. So I think sometimes we just need to change our perspective on how we look at it.
And that's what I was saying yesterday about my granddaughter, your daughter, is that I know she's disappointed, but I really want her to call to find out. I don't know whether it's a board or a council that put her on the wait list for the program she wants to get in, and tell me what I could have done differently. Find out more about it, because we can sit in our stuff. We can. Or we can do something. And that's one of the things that I've always said to you guys. If you don't like something, change it, because you can be a sort of an advocate for change. And that's one of the things that I know about myself, and I love that God has given me that gift of advocacy, and not accepting things as that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And because I'm always ever since I was a little girl, I would go, oh, why is that the way it is? How come that's the way it is? And it doesn't mean that you can change the world, but you can change one, how you respond to things. And you can also have a voice that makes people accountable. Like you can speak up. That's what civil rights is about. That is what it's about, to really being in a place where we're advocating on behalf of people. It is speaking up. That's probably why I talk so much, because I believe that God gave us a voice so that we can share that our opinions and our voices with the world. It doesn't mean that we're right all the time. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have conflicting opinions, but we can agree sometimes to disagree, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so powerful, using your voice. And that's key, because whatever you do, wherever you are, like doing it to the best of your ability, and uplifting and spreading joy. Like you used to always say, my grandmother said, like, if someone, even if someone is a street sweeper, and that, I guess it came from like the civil rights era, they would be the best street sweeper that they could be, like being the best. And I was explaining to my son, I said, I'm a literacy coach. I work with teachers. I can get up in the morning and say, you know what, this is frustrating. Teachers argue and whatever. I can say this is frustrating, this is whatever, and then go about my business and give half effort. But if I get up and I say, you know what, we're going to work through this process. Things are hard. There is an achievement gap. Everything going on with Rona, whatever. But guess what? On this day today, we're going to try. We're going to make a goal. We're going to work through it. And if I impress upon you something that is helping you to be an inspired teacher or to give great instruction, then you are impacting how many children? How many children then do I impact? So it's more about a teacher who might be difficult or might have an attitude. It's about, okay, I need to keep working with you so that we can get to the goal together, because you are going to impact hundreds of children who are going to impact the people they're going to marry, who are going to impact their children. So, we think, oh, we can walk around and be in these silos and have our attitudes and it doesn't impact anybody else. But even saying something like hi and smiling at this time can mean a lot to someone. And you never know how it's going to impact the next person that they run into and the next person that they run into. Like, we are all connected, and we have a great power and a great responsibility to be aware of that connection and to make sure that we're using our part of the chain, our connection, our energy for good, for uplifting, because we don't know where that energy is pushing out to and who is reaching, who is touching. So it's like, let's be responsible for what we give out.
That's a good segue, because I was on a podcast recently, and we were talking about whether or not it was African Americans' responsibility to support the Asian community with all of this violence. And there were a lot of different perspectives. And so, we got into a heated kind of debate, because the young lady said to me, why should we care about the Asian communities? Why should we support the Asian community when they have not supported us? Why should we support the Asian community when, they take up space in our neighborhoods? They're rude to us. They follow us around the stores. We have to fight for ourselves as Black people. And my thing was this, because Kia, I am the most militant person there is. But my thing was, first of all, because we understand what it's like to be treated like dirt because of the color of our skin, because we understand what the impact of systematic racism is. It's not about what you didn't do for me. It's about the fact that it's wrong as a human being. And what I said to her is that what I see mostly is African Americans attacking these older Asians, right? If that was my dad, I don't care what color my dad is. Why are you pushing my dad down? Because we live in a world where somebody has to be on top and somebody has to be on the bottom. But that's how racism started, because somebody needed to be on top and somebody needed to be on the bottom. Now, it's true that in some communities, the Asians do follow you around the store, but it don't stop Mufwikwa from getting her nails done. I'm sorry, that was very unpolitically correct. But it's real. We were in the middle of a pandemic and we had people, black and brown people, lined up around the corner to get sneakers as soon as they could. When I go into the nail salon stores, what I see is us. So no matter how bad we're treated, we are in there. Why don't we come from a place of humanity? The truth is that if all of the black and brown people disappeared tomorrow, there would be somebody that will be stepped on, because in this society, it feels like it's about status. Somebody got to be on the top and somebody has to be on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that I know this is going to sound crazy because I mean, I love being a black woman. I love embracing being a black woman
Black and brown people disappear tomorrow
and everything that comes with it. But to me, like, I always think about this. Like, I have a weird mind. I probably said this before. If we were like captured by aliens and they were taking samples from us, they're going to see we are of the earth. That's basically them things from the earth. Okay. Oh, look at this mineral or this whatever, or this material comes from the earth. If they cut a chunk out of our behind, it ain't gonna be, oh, this the white behind, this the black behind. It's gonna be a mineral, a particle from the earth. This substance is from the earth. So it's kind of like, yo, we on this small planet together. Like, we got each other for real. And we need to act like it. Yes, we have differences, but those differences are based on what people had to do to adapt culturally, what people did based on living next to a river or not living next to a river, living in the desert or living in the mountains with the snow. Like, really, it came down to geographical characteristics, which shaped a lot of our cultural practices and traditions. So we're not uncommon. We're very common. You know, even down to the color of our skin has been, shaped by how close we are to the sun or blah, 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 whatever. So it's like, at the end of the day, we all belong to the planet Earth. We're all from Earth. You know what I mean? And so why can't I look at somebody who's Asian, white, blue, whatever, and say, my sister, my brother? And I don't have to have a judgment about that person. I don't have to try to dictate how they live their life or what they say out of their mouth or whatever. And I know words are powerful and they impact, but I can have a conversation with you. I can live by example. I can educate. I can write a book. I can do whatever. I can voice my opinion without diminishing you or making you feel like you're nothing as a human or you're unintelligent because you don't understand something or because you have a misconception about something. Like, people know what they know based on what they've been exposed to, basically. And sometimes they choose to live in ignorance because it's more comfortable. It's blissful not to know sometimes. That's human. So I'm not going to be like, oh, this white lady is terrible because she said something about black people's hair. I mean, of course she did. She probably don't know any black people. And if she did, does she really have a real relationship with them? She has her misconceptions. If she's open to know, then I'll talk to her to educate her about knowing. If she's not, then God bless you. You know, God bless you. Like, I don't know. We do a lot. And again, we have to be responsible for the energy that we put out into the earth, into the world, and how we carry our spirits, because it's going to impact somebody else.
But do you think that we operate oftentimes, because what you said sounds very nice, but very Pollyanna, because we are very emotional creatures. Like, I think that one of the reasons why people might feel it's okay to attack an Asian American is because of the stereotypes that, oh, they come here, they take jobs from us. I'm tired of being a black person that gets shitted on all the time, so I'm gonna shit on somebody else. I think we're in a place now, we are a bundle of emotions. We're emotional because we've been sat down so long. We're emotional because life is not the way that it used to be, and some of us haven't adjusted to it. We're emotional because we are watching um, all of the ills of the world and the isms of the world come to surface, and we can't turn our heads anymore. We're angry, we're tired, we've lost over 500,000 human beings, like 500,000. Like, when we come back into the world, we're going to look around and say, well, where's Joe and where's Susie? And they died in the pandemic. There is so many emotions that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the emotions, some of us who are forced to be home with our partners, that we realize, I don't even really like that person, but I got to be with them. We have children who we're been forced to be captive with. And we have to face the fact that, wow, I don't even really know how to educate them. And God bless these teachers. Somebody send them back to school. Then it's the vaccine or not the vaccine. You feel like there's some pressure to take it. We're a bundle of emotions. I think that's why we're seeing so many mass shootings, because people are flip moding. They're like, no, I'm done. Because our mind can only withstand so much at one time. And that's why I think we need to talk more about mental health, especially, not just especially in our community, in every community, but mental health is real. And we're not doing well in that area right now, I think.
Yeah. And I totally get it. I totally get it. But that goes back to what I was saying, with us even more now so than ever, needing to feel a grace that we give to one another. Needing to, like, I was having a meeting today, and some of my colleagues were like lashing out at one another. And my initial reaction with a person that is difficult at this point in my life is, dang, they must be really going through it. Because more often than not, when people are being short with you, or they have an attitude, or they're angry, or they have a nasty disposition, it is because they are really struggling with some things internally. Because if you are emotionally intelligent and emotionally aware, and you feel like you're centered and you have a sense of peace, you're not going to be nasty to someone. So something is interrupting or disrupting your joy. Something is interrupting or disrupting what you're anchored in. And that also goes back to what I was saying about being anchored in God. For me, that has been what has helped me to maintain a sense of peace, because there is a lot going on, and you can feel like you're this way, you're being pulled this way, that way, this way, and it might get worse. But I know that God is real. I know that He is my Father. I know that He loves me. I know that He provides for me. I know that He protects me. I know that He keeps my mind. I know that He keeps me sane. I know that He keeps me filled with light and love, so that I'm able to give that to other people. So if we understand that so much is going on in the world, then we have to increase the grace that we give to others, the kindness that we're willing to extend to others, and to ourselves too. Like, sometimes I feel like we're going, and we don't stop to think, like, hey, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Like, some people are just trying to hit the ground running and keep going and doing. And I'm just going to keep going. That's what I know how to do. I know how to work till my fingers, work my fingers to the bone. I know how to get this project done. I know how to start this business. I know how to do this. And it's like, okay, you do realize that the earth is in transition right now, and there's a lot of things going on that's going to impact your spirit. You can't ignore that. You have to pay attention to what's happening around you, and not to dwell in it, or to feel hopeless about it, but just to recognize that we are in a place, and I need to be still, and I need to be quiet. I need to listen to what my spirit is saying right now. God is talking to us, literally talking to us at this time. And we can't deny, even like the fluctuation that's happening in relationships, like right now. a relationship, how we relate to one another, is one of the number one manifestations of God. Like he displays his love for us. He displays his connection to us by our connection to one another. And right now, there is a disjointedness, even with people meeting one another. It doesn't even have to be romantic relationships. And that is not by accident. So many people having these testimonials about it being hard to date. That is not by accident. There is something definitely going on. And we have to be anchored in God and hear his voice so that we can know how to move and so that we can keep our peace during this time.
I agree. But I think that, if you pre-COVID, if you had a difficult time navigating through your emotions and navigating through relationships, you're going to have an even more difficult time. I think it's absolutely important. And I don't know what else God has to do to show us that he is God. If COVID and everything that's happened in these last year and a half did not wake us up, then we're apt to be asleep. But I can think about relationships even in my family. Like, I have family members that we don't talk because they're mad about something I don't even know that happened years ago, and has decided that you're the enemy, right? And that boggles my mind. And I don't know whether part of what for me, as I'm thinking about a person right now, it's like, I am who I am to you. I love you. I have not changed. I'm not gonna love you any less. If you choose to separate yourself from me because of whatever, I'm at a point now where I used to stress over that and, oh my God, I gotta fix it. But that's part of me standing in my truth in this new age of trusting God, is that I'm not going to tear myself up to beg you, please accept me, please. No, I love you. And if that's not enough, if you want to be where you are, I can't be there with you, because it becomes toxic. And then I come out of, my character, and then I'm acting in a way that God doesn't like, and all of that. Like that takes a lot of energy in anything.
Yeah.
Like, even like you said, it's difficult to even be in a relationship in terms of dating. Me, I'm like, look, I say it once. This, what's up? I don't know what you think you're doing. Don't DM me. You got my number. At least text me. I'm serious. Like, really, I don't like that. Like, if you and I are in a relationship,
don't DM me.
Not even a relationship, but if you are the opposite sex, or even if you're my friend, don't DM me hello. You got my number. You could at least text me. We don't have that connection. People don't even call each other up and say, hi, how you doing? Like, I know sometimes as shy people, we don't really feel like having conversations, but you can text somebody and say, hey. To me, a DM is so, I don't know. It is. It's very like, really? How you doing? Fine. I'm a DM. Like, I just when you talk about the connections that we have, this society has made it so easy for us not to be in relationship.
Yeah. And that's why we have to be intentional about connecting with one another. Like, I was talking to someone the other day. I was like, I like to hear people's voice on the phone. Like, it's just something different about hearing the way you breathe, the size, the inflection of your voice. All that stuff means something. Not overanalyze, but I feel like you can make more of a connection talking to someone in person, definitely being in person with someone. And so I was thinking about that the other day, about how a lot of the ways that we communicate right now, it just seems like it will suffice, but it doesn't suffice. Like, people need more than that, more than we're giving. Like, if someone's going through a hard emotional time, I know the first instinct is like to send them some prayer hand emojis and they be all right, I'm praying for you. Like,
right.
But like, people need to hear your voice and know that, I really am here for you. And I struggle with that because sometimes you don't know what to say when people are going through certain things. But like, I think sometimes it's better that they did hear your voice versus not, or you text messaging them. I know it can be uncomfortable or awkward sometimes, but like, the way that we used to do things, even like way pre-COVID, was just so different. Like I was talking to my friend, she's from the country. So she has all these little mannerisms and ways of doing things that I ain't really learned growing up. Like I just didn't do things. We didn't do things that way. But she's like, okay, well, no, it's decency and order, and you gotta call and you gotta acknowledge the pastor, and you gotta bring a plate by. I'm like, that's so dope. like that's cool. That's really good. But like, I feel like we need to reestablish those little ways of doing a little bit more for one another, like showing that effort. We don't really show effort anymore. It's like, even when we first meet someone, like, okay, so dating, the texting or whatever, that's really that's zero effort on both parts, for male or women, or even getting on the phone and talking every now and then, or calling back every couple of days. Like, we don't even make the effort to finish a conversation anymore. Like, all right, yeah. No bye. No okay. No, all right, nice chatting with you. Like, in this conversation, I need you to end the conversation that we were just like, somebody said they put out something about a bit. They wanted to find some writers for something they were doing. So I said, oh, I'm interested. And the person was like, oh, do you live in wherever? And I was like, no, I live in Maryland. And they didn't say anything else. I said, so do you have to live in such place in order for this opportunity? And they were like, oh, yeah, you got to live here. All right. I'm like, well, dang.
Look, let me say something. I'll go you one better now. You know I'm doing this Legal Shield. I'm a Legal Shield representative. I have sent out, I don't know how many text messages to friends, people I know, that any other time be like, hey, Val. I'd be like, and I have said, so, let me know what you think. Because the first thing I do is send out an email. And then I say, now that you've seen it, what do you think? I have text messages in my phone. My people haven't even said, hey, there's nothing, like nothing, not, go somewhere with that, nothing. It's like, I'm just not going to talk to you about it. I'm like, wow.
It's like the peekaboo thing. It's like the peekaboo thing with text messages, like, you can't see me.
You can't see me. Listen, I see you, because I don't text you again and said, hey, let's get you legal protected. They ain't even talking. People that would text me back in 2 minutes, I'm just not going to say nothing to her, because then she's going to think, what? That you disappeared.
But that brings me back to this, and I will take accountability. I'm bad with that. You have called me, and I'll be calling. I have to, but I want to be better. I want to be better, and I see me. My thing is, why do we have such a hard time just being upfront honest? Like saying, girl, I don't want to do no damn Legal Shield. Like, I don't want to do it. I ain't interested.
Oh, wait, we got somebody that says, Tammy Haslett, I'm interested in Legal Shield. Tammy Haslett, girl, now you can DM me. That's who can DM me. As soon as we get off this broadcast, DM me and we will hook you right on up, Miss Tammy Haslett. Look at God. Look at God.
It could be anything. Like, I'm not like a good salesperson at all. Like, you're really good at that, Mom. Like, you're good at engaging people and selling and advertising.
Obviously not. I'm just like, I'm just not gonna answer her text.
Yeah, you gotta go outside your friends sometimes when you're selling stuff. But I'm not. So I know that about myself. So when people are like soliciting me to do stuff like that, I'm just like, ugh. But it brings back to the point, like, why can't we just say, oh, no, thank you. I'm not interested in that. It's like, and not just like we have a discomfort in saying, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not interested. But then other people like receiving that, just receiving it like, hey, they don't want to do it. And not like, oh, my friends never support me. Nobody never want to back me up in nothing.
I have to say, thank you, Les.
Just like anybody.
But I want to say this. I have some amazing people in my life. But you know what? I'm on this grind right now, right? I'm gonna have diverse streams of income. So I'm gonna come back to my friends. Hey, like, check this out, check this out. Now you can say, all right, I'm not interested, or no, it's all good because they know here she come again. Yeah. Cause before I leave this earth, I'm gonna be balling. Like I know that's gonna happen. And I ain't gonna stop till I do. But it's okay to say sometimes some people already have the defense up. Nah, you ain't even hear what I had to say. Nah, because I know I hate to get on my people. I know it's going to involve some money. Okay, but you get ready to go out there and spend that $60 on them that Chick-fil-A meal. Like really? I'm just saying. So I always want things that are going to benefit the community.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just want
like because most times people think they're going to hurt the other person's feelings.
Yeah, that's
they know
true.
My feelings don't get hurt like that. My feelings don't get hurt like that. I just want to know so I can know, do I need to move on?
Yeah. That's like with the ghosting thing. Like, and you know, I have done that in the past, but I feel like it's wrong, so I don't do it anymore. So I was talking to this guy, and he was really cool. But what I appreciated about him, it wasn't working out. I was obviously not interested. Who was the echo, Mom?
It's okay.
But what? You know what? I think I could grab her headphones and I might be better.
I don't know what happened. Well, I'm gonna continue to talk for you. Here's about the ghosting thing, right? To me, that's so immature, and it's hurtful, and it can play into people's feelings of rejection. You know, everybody has a type and a preference, right? So if you are, because usually we're talking about people that you're getting to know or to date. You could say, oh, you might find that, you're not interested in that person. You like chocolate. Some people like strawberry. Okay. So chocolate wasn't your flavor. That's fine. But why do you feel the need? I'm just not going to talk to them ever again. That's that big boo thing. You don't see me. Goodbye. Like, really? That's immature to me. It's like, I've said to people, you know what? I think you're a nice person. We have different, wants and needs, and I'd like to be your friend because I think you can always meet a friend, and you ain't gotta. You know how I feel about that because the worst thing that can happen is somebody's your friend, but I'm just not gonna talk to you no more. That's just immature and hurtful.
I don't want no new friends that got no friends.
Why did you ghost somebody? Why did you ghost them?
Me?
Yeah, because you said you ghosted somebody before.
Oh, people be doing some weird stuff. Okay, so I was talking to this one guy, and we on Facebook. Well, anyway, I was talking to this one guy, and I would notice that he would end up calling me at the same time each night, and then we would talk, and he would just like kind of take over the whole conversation. It was all about him, and I was trying to talk, but hey, and then you know how you do a double dutch, you trying to jump in and talk, and it's like clearly this is not about me. So then he goes on to say he's smoking weed in his car, and every time I talk to him, he's sitting out in his car smoking weed, and he's like unloading. And I know people are stressed, but it just seemed like what? And then he was being really inappropriate and saying some sexual things. And I'm like, what? Who talks to people like? Then he was talking about women and using women, calling women bees. And I was like, I really don't like that. I don't feel comfortable with that. And he's like, man, I call a bee a bee. It don't mean bee like bee, but it means bee, you know? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like that. That's not cool with me. So I don't know. It was just like I blocked them.
Then you should have said, you know what? This is I don't think we're good, maybe, because there's some things that and I don't want to tell you what to do, but that ain't what I'm cool with,
Yeah.
So we probably shouldn't even talk no more.
Yeah, no, and that's what I know, and I appreciate that because like today's day and age, you never know, like that blocking somebody can push somebody over the edge. Like you could be the person that block them and they're like, I'm done with this. People don't care. Like you have to be very sensitive, like treat people like humans. Like like you're meeting them face to face. Like if you meet somebody face to face, you're not gonna be like, you know what I mean? You're not gonna dismiss them, not talk to them, walk away from them. In most cases,
Some people will.
I know some people will.
This girl told me that she met a guy online, and when she got to dinner with him, he did not have teeth, and he came to dinner without teeth, and she was like they do in church, and went to her car and left.
Oh no! Aww. See, that's sad.
What part is sad? That he didn't have teeth or that she left?
No, that she left. He could have got some dentures.
I think he had them, but he didn't want to put them on, for dinner because maybe it was easier.
He had to eat. Maybe he didn't have any more glue. He might be comfortable eating without his dentures.
All right, so if you went on a date with a guy, and when you got there to dinner, he didn't have his teeth, what would you do?
I would just eat through the meal and laugh and have a good time, and that would be it. But that's wrong too, right? Because then he's like,
I don't know. I ain't even going to front because I'm at that age where it can happen.
Yeah, me too. We're in the same dating group, G pool now.
Well,
you've done dated people
that
for your teeth to fall out. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't make fun of people. I don't put anybody down because I might be sitting there one day and I'm eating some turkey and my teeth fall out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Oh my God, I don't want him to get up and walk out the restaurant.
Yeah, and I think we come back to the subject of how we treat people, right? Yeah. How we treat people. And whether you're in a dating situation, which is cray nowadays, or just human beings, it's like, think about how you want to be treated. And it's sometimes people feel the need to be superior to other people. It's not cool. That's, and I'm back to the conversation I was having about human dignity and how we treat people. Why is it okay for us to, be violent to one group of people when we know what it's like? It's like, we're in a time now where, because people can undercover be nasty, because you can't see their face and it's online. So people could say whatever they want to say. And how people be on bullying online, and kids are committing suicide because people bullying online because it's funny. And we just got to think about how we're treating people.
Yes, sir. That's so good, Mom. I believe in that. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. Like, be kind, because you never know what people are going through. You never know how it might come back around to you. So yeah, just be kind. I want to exercise, and maybe we both can do this challenge. Like, just and a part of living in my truth is just being transparent and communicating with people in a way that exhibits my honoring of their value and worth as a fellow human being. Like, I'm gonna honor you, I'm gonna value you, point blank, which means that if I'm communicating with you, I'm going to do so in honesty. I'm going to do so with respect. I'm going to do so with the consideration of your feelings. And I mean, I think that'll go well. I think that we are afraid to do certain things because we're like, oh, it's going to make us vulnerable, or going to make us look weak, or make us look a certain way, or it'll make us look like and we might hurt someone's feelings in giving honesty. But it just needs to be a norm now for us to just be real with each other. We have no choice. We got to be real.
People do have choices, and people choose to be angry. People choose to be, like I said, I think that's one of the reasons why we have all these mass shootings, is because we are emotional right now, and we are operating under emotion. It's nothing to go into the grocery store and see somebody arguing over petty things. Like I told you the other day, I was at Dollar General, and these young girls attacked this young guy. And then as they were driving out the parking lot, I just heard pop, pop, pop. They just started shooting. And there were children around. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't matter to them. They had to be like, I'm gonna say they were like late 20s. Like that you could pull out a gun, because everybody got one. We in the Wild Wild West. And just I'm mad, so I'm just gonna shoot you. Like we don't even back in the day, you had a fight, you duked it up, somebody won, somebody lost. You might be friends the next day, you might not. But it was done because you got all that aggression out. Right now, the punks of the world decided I don't have to know how to fight. I can just shoot people and take a life. Like life means absolutely nothing. I could just take a life, and that's going to, somehow make me hard, and that's just what it is. Because in the game, I mean, I can't conceive that. I can't. That like me, that just blows my mind. Now I understand that sometimes people are so destroyed emotionally, and so something happened in their life a long time ago that detached them from human feelings, that it ain't nothing to take a life.
Well, I was walking with my friend. I was probably like 11 or 12 years old. I'll never forget this. We were walking down the street, and she's just walking, hopping around. And she said, I don't care about anything. And I was like, why do you say that? She was like, because nobody cares about me. And she meant that. She meant that. And I feel like, and it stuck with me. It stuck with me because it gave me an insight into, because she did some stuff that was like, what are you doing? But it gave me some insight into people as far as how they will behave when they feel unloved, when they feel like no one cares for them. And that's another reason to give people grace. Like we should see one another more. I think a lot of people walk around feeling unseen, uncared for, unheard. And when you feel like that, you're going to shoot your way back into reality, back into this world. They was like, boys cry bullets. You know what I mean? Like,
boys cry bullets. Wow.
Yeah, even if it's like taking a time out to say, hey, you good? I mean, even within our own house, I know I drive my kids crazy, but I have teenagers and they would prefer to be in their own space, in their own room, which at this time with all that's going on, that's where a lot of teens are. Sometimes you gotta bust open that door. I knock first because I never want to see anything. I knock first. And then I'm busting in the door. Like, what you doing? What's going on here? How are you today? I love you. Clean up your room. Like you gotta check in on your kids, even if it's that. You know what I'm saying? Or like, what's going on? Let's talk, because just as we are distracted and absorbed in all that's going on, our children are suffering. They're like, what the hell is going on? And what does this mean for my future? And more than us, they really have stock in what the future looks like for them. Like my son going off to college, when this first started happening, I was like, is he going to have a graduation? Which I'm really still not clear on. Is he going to be on a campus, or is he going to be going to school online? Like, he didn't get to do his prom. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that was just stripped away from them, and it just went away, and then it's like, what are they looking at or watching online, and how is it feeding their spirit? How is it feeding their mind? And I can always tell when my oldest especially has been in the zone too long. I'm like, boy, you gotta get up off this. Let's go for a walk. Let's go outside. Let's talk. What's going on with you? Because you could see it on their spirit. It's just like a numbing. Like they're almost like mummies going around. Like,
but that is purposeful. Like, and I think that and this might be another conversation because we're coming to time, but I think that that's definitely something that parents especially need to do some research on, right? There is something specific about exposing our children, especially from young ages, to all of this electronics in their ear, in their mind, in their eyes, in all of their senses. We overstimulate them. And some people feel like, hey, that's the best babysitter there is, right? The most quiet that my grandchildren have been is when they have an electronic device in their hands. But that's overstimulation of their minds when they haven't had an opportunity as children to even fully develop their thought patterns. Their brain cells physically have not been developed. 21, 22, your frontal lobe is fully developed. Before that, that irrational place is in young people. That's why young people make rash decisions, because physiologically there's not a development. So if our development is full of these games are so comprehensive and complex now, when the kids tell me about it, I'm like, wow, like they have this whole life, Zoe Corinne, one of my grandchildren. I got so many, it's 7 of them. Yeah, Grammy, I was out. Now I'm thinking she's out. Yeah, I saw Corinne the other day, your daughter. Corinne is in Maryland. How did you see Corinne? Oh yeah, I was on the street and I was walking and I had my outfit on. What are you talking about? What's the name of that game?
Roblox.
Roblox. Road what?
Roblox, Mom. Don't do that. Roblox. You're doing the extra old people. Roll.
Right. Exactly. But that's not good that they are in that life and they believe that life. They let me tell you something. Your niece stole her mother's, and I'm gonna get ready to put her out on Front Street. Because I think
don't do it to my baby.
Yeah, no, stole her mother's credit card and bought some Roblox stuff. Bought some Roblox to whatever you gotta buy. She did. First of all, it couldn't have been like if it was that was y'all wouldn't be able to sit down for 10 weeks.
Oh my God.
If anybody said a road or a block next to you, you would run the other way. That's how I raised you. But that's what we're doing to kids. Like, they're so immersed that I gotta have it.
Yeah, remember when on Christmas time when we had those couple of days where we're like no technology, and you were singing to them songs that you sung to me and Talia when we were babies, singing to them, telling them stories. At the end of it, they were like, can we have another no technology day? Like they had so much fun with us sitting around telling stories and having dance competitions. Like these are things we just did when we were little. And we didn't need any technology. We had that connection with our elders. We heard about stories that were fun to retell. We sang songs that we want. I would have people singing me the same song all the time. Can you sing me that song? Can you sing me that song? That was my entertainment. But that created connection. That created a bond. So it's like we have to like capitalize on those moments where we can say, okay, as a family, we're going to come together and spend time. And nobody can be on their phone, because I've gone to cookouts and parties and Thanksgiving dinners and things where you walk around the room and you see this. Everybody on their phone. And it's like, dang, man, what is this? Get up, eat your food, and back on the phone. And it's like we're missing each other. We're missing so much in each other by not spending that time intentionally.
We are. So, babe, we have come to time, but at least we're making an effort to stay connected and talk to each other and really talk about some of the things that affect our lives, affects everyone's lives. I appreciate that you have spent this time talking to me. I love you to life.
I love you too.
And I just want to say that, I know somebody who has no teeth, and so I'll send him your way since you won't
No, that's okay. I got my eye on somebody right now. He got teeth too.
Thank you so much. This is your girl, Valerie, the chocolate smoothie of Sister Talk with Valerie, and only on Untapped Music Radio. Tune in 7:30 every Saturday, Untapped Music Radio. Y'all have a great evening. Love you as always. Bye-bye.